of energy, meaning the predictable return of traumatized consciousness into controlled timelines. And now that return channel is disrupted, and this is why you feel increasing desperation in control narratives, why you see strange decisions from those in authority, why the old spell feels sloppy and rushed, because it is rushed, because the machinery of capture is not holding like it used to, and so their time is running out, and desperation is always noisy. Now let me speak clearly about what you call the reptilians and the negative off-world factions, because some of you have been shamed for speaking of them, while others have been trapped in obsession and fear about them. And as always, the truth is found in clarity, not obsession. For yes, there have been non-human consciousness groups operating within your Earth field, some physically present through proxies and hybrids, others present through interdimensional influence and psychic parasitism. And many of these groups fed upon human emotional incoherence, because incoherence is edible to them, and this is not mythology, it is energetic biology. For in the same way, certain creatures in your oceans feed on plankton blooms. These beings feed upon fear blooms, outrage blooms, shame blooms, addiction blooms, and America produced these blooms at industrial scale. And so it became a feeding hub. And this hub was protected through layered technologies, media, pharmaceuticals, entertainment, financial slavery, and yes, frequency manipulation. Because if you can keep the nervous system vibrating in distress, you can keep the soul from anchoring its full power. And a soul not anchored can be redirected, recycled, harvested, and controlled. And that was the pattern, and it worked for longer than you know. But now the turning has reached the reptilian stratum itself. And this is a part of the revelation that will shock many of you, because you imagine that only light beings leave, that only volunteers exit, that only star seeds change timelines. But beloved ones, when the planetary frequency changes key, it does not only upgrade the light, it also ejects what cannot harmonize, meaning there is a forced sorting now occurring in your field, a vibrational separation, and the negative entities who cannot exist inside the new harmonic layer will begin to withdraw, and some will attempt to flee physically, others will flee interdimensionally, others will abandon their human proxies and hosts. And when a dark entity abandons a host, the human personality can collapse, can become erratic, can suffer breakdown, can lose coherence, because the borrowed artificial support is removed. And you will see this as scandals, sudden resignations, weird illnesses, unexplained disappearances, strange behavior from those who once appeared confident and untouchable, because the inner occupant is evacuating and the human vessel cannot maintain the mask alone. And this is why you will observe not only souls leaving America, but also spirits leaving bodies, meaning possession structures dissolving, attachments breaking, contracts ending. And this will create both liberation and confusion, because when an old parasite leaves, the wound it fed from becomes visible, and the healing must begin. Not all souls leaving the USA are victims. Not all are innocents exiting tragedy, because many of the departing are dark aligned souls whose contracts are being terminated, whose timeline supports are being removed, whose extraction routes have been opened to relocate them away from your planet, because there are higher councils involved in this recalibration, and there are containment operations unfolding beyond your news cycle, and the removal of predatory consciousness is part of your liberation. And so you will see sudden clusters of death, sudden clusters of disappearance, sudden clusters of accidents that were not accidents, and the surface narrative will be confusion. But the deeper energetic reality is eviction, extraction, and end of contract, because the old field cannot support them any longer. And beloved ones, this is why the USA feels like it is trembling from the inside. Because when a structure is filled with hidden occupants, and those occupants begin to exit at once, the structure shakes. Some of you ask, why America? Why not other places? And again, I tell you, America is not special in ego. America is strategic in timeline because it acted as the must broadcast awakening, and the reversal is already underway. And this is why people are relocating out of America suddenly without knowing why families feel a strange pull, why relationships break quickly, why long-time residents say, I can't stay here anymore, why some feel compelled to go toward quieter lands, toward mountains, toward forests, toward water, toward remote places, because the soul knows where the frequency is stable. And as the grid of manipulation collapses, the soul begins to navigate like a migrating bird using invisible magnetic mapping. And this is not poetry, beloved ones. It is literal because your soul is electromagnetic and it responds to electricity. And that exit can take the form of relocation or it can take the form of death. And yes, some are leaving through transition because their higher self has concluded that remaining would trap them in a denser lesson cycle. And it is better to depart now and return later under a clearer harmonic. And the sleeping will call this tragedy, but the soul calls it mercy. And here is where I speak of what you call prophecy, because you have mentioned Nostradamus, and I will address this carefully, because prophecy is not a fixed script. It is a pattern recognition of probability fields. It is the ability to see energetic weather before it becomes physical storm. And Nostradamus, like many seers, perceived symbols, fragments, and pressure points. And while humans misinterpret prophecies by trying to make them literal and sensational, the deeper layer is that he saw a future period when the Western Empire would be shaken, when the great center of power would face internal fracturing, when there would be unusual celestial signs, strange lights, instability, and a kind of departure, a falling away, a withdrawal of life force from the old structures. And beloved ones, that is what you are in now, because you are watching life force leave a corrupted architecture. And when life force leaves, the architecture collapses like a hollow tree. And Nostradamus, among others, sensed this probability field, and it is now manifesting as a soul movement, not only physically but energetically, as if the spirit of a nation is shedding what does not belong. Now understand what happens when the soul capture recycling technology fails, because this is a sentence that sounds like science fiction to those who are still bound to materialism, yet it is the most real thing you could hear. For you are living in a universe where consciousness is primary and technology can interface with consciousness. And for a time, there were systems designed to keep souls looping back into controlled tracks. Not for every soul, not for all time, but sufficiently to farm energy and maintain predictable societal patterns. And those systems depended on frequency dominance, meaning they required the ability to generate false lights. False authority now is that the false light is no longer stable in the new harmonics, and souls are beginning to pierce through, to bypass the trap, to refuse the coercion, and many are choosing exit routes outside the old corridors. And that is why you will hear, quietly at first, more accounts of near-death experiences where people say, I saw the trap, I refused, I went beyond the tunnel, I found the true light, their harvest. And when the predators lose harvest, they begin evacuation. So yes, beloved ones, you will see negative alien souls leaving America, because many of these dark groups use the USA as their command hub, a stage, a theater, and also intelligent parasite do when the host becomes toxic to it. It leaves, and it searches for another feeding ground. But Earth is being sealed as well, meaning the leaving is not simply relocation to another city, it is relocation away from your plane, which is why you will hear and feel a peculiar emptiness in the field after certain waves, like the air after a storm passes, as if something heavy left the room. But do not misunderstand, for the leaving will not be neat, it will not be polite, it will not be publicly announced, because the old system survives by pretending nothing is happening. so it will be disguised as accidents, as epidemics, as violence, as mental health crises, as random tragedies, as scattered disasters. Yet the awakened will see the pattern. They will notice clusters. They will sense the energetic drain of certain cities. They will feel the sudden lightness afterward. They will have dreams of evacuation, dreams of departure, airports and trains and bridges, because the subconscious perceives what the media cannot narrate. And many of you will be guided to leave certain areas, not because doom is coming, but because your contract is moving, your mission is relocating, your frequency is being repositioned as a node, because the planet is reweaving its grid, and the volunteers are being moved like chess pieces into positions that stabilize the coming phase. And now, beloved ones, I must make this very clear, because shock without clarity becomes fear, and fear is precisely what the old system wants to harvest in its final days, so listen carefully. This is not a message to panic. This is not a message to predict mass death and spread terror. This is not a message to make the sleeping hate their neighbors or fear their nation, because fear is poison. Fear creates distorted timelines. Fear makes you manipulatable, and you are not here for that. You are here to remain coherent, to remain grounded, to remain spiritually intelligent. For when a soul exit wave occurs, the correct community and the steadiness of the awakened is the technology that prevents chaos from becoming tragedy, because a calm nervous system is a lighthouse in a storm. So what should you do as this soul movement intensifies, as the USA pressure wave continues, as the reptilian and negative factions withdraw, as the recycling nets fail? And the answer is not to obsess over death, but to strengthen life, to stabilize your body, to clean your emotional field, to reduce toxic inputs, to stop feeding outrage, to avoid doom addiction, to store basic necessities without paranoia, to keep water, food, light, and calm, because the outer grid may flicker, but your inner grid must become unbreakable, because the greatest weapon you have is coherence, and coherence is a frequency that the predators cannot digest, and that is why their systems are failing, because too many of you are becoming coherent. Too many of you are waking up. Too many of you are refusing the hypnosis. And that refusal is not simply a political act. No. It is a cosmic act, because it removes consent. And without consent, they cannot maintain the structure. Beloved ones, the reason this message feels shocking is because it is true. And truth feels shocking when you have been lied to for long enough. And as this unfolds, you will see that America is not collapsing as a nation, but shedding as an energetic body, like a snake shedding skin. And the skin that is shedding includes corrupted institutions, corrupted narratives, corrupted entities, corrupted contracts, corrupted souls who cannot harmonize with the new octave. And so they leave. And as they leave, the field becomes quieter, the air becomes cleaner, and the awakened begin to breathe again. And that is the real miracle of this era. Not the sensational headlines, but the silent liberation. The moment when the room becomes lighter because the predator has exited. So hold steady now, beloved ones, because you are entering the phase where the leaving becomes visible, where patterns become undeniable, where those with eyes will see and those with ears will hear, and the ones who are meant to remain will remain, and the ones who are meant to depart will depart, and the ones who are meant to relocate will relocate, and the ones who are meant to awaken through this shock will awaken, and the ones who are meant to lose their masks will lose them, and the great turning will accelerate, because a capture system failing is not a small event. It is the collapse of the prison architecture. And when a prison collapses, the inmates are freed and the guards flee. And that is the simplest way I can speak it to you now. The guards are leaving. And if you feel strange pressure, if you feel emotional waves, if you feel dreams of departure, if you feel the pull to nature, if you feel the urge to simplify, to detox, to withdraw from noise. Do not shame yourself, because your soul is receiving the signal, and the signal is not death. The signal is destiny. The signal is change, and the signal is saying, the old world is losing its grip. The old nets are failing, and the ones who cannot survive in truth frequency are being removed. I will take you further into what is beneath this event, for many of you have sensed it already, like a pressure behind the eyes, like a tightening in the chest that comes and goes without reason, like a strange emotional heaviness that lifts suddenly in certain places, like the air itself changing texture. And I tell you now, these are not imagined, for the intellect is slow and easily manipulated. But the body is ancient. The body is honest, and the body is an antenna that cannot be bribed by propaganda. The reason you are witnessing this rapid soul movement centered around America is because the United States has become the loudest intersection point of multiple energetic highways that have converged at once. And when highways converge, collisions occur, exits multiply, and sudden detours become necessary. And this is exactly what is happening now. A detouring of destinies, a rerouting of timelines, a restructuring of contracts. Because the timeline the United States was meant to anchor in this cycle is changing, not slightly, not gradually, but abruptly, as if a train has switched tracks mid-motion, and the passengers can feel the jolt even if the conductor tells them nothing has changed. And this is why I speak of soul contracts so often. For the majority of human suffering on earth did not originate from some cosmic punishment or divine abandonment. It originated from prolonged agreement to distorted reality, from consent that was obtained through amnesia, and from repeated cycles where souls returned without remembering the full plan, entering systems that were built to siphon energy and to bind was confused, because the afterlife corridors were made to resemble spiritual authority, and because the soul, in its tenderness, in its innocence, in its desire to do the right thing, could be coerced into returning prematurely, could be guilted into coming back, could be told it failed, could be promised redemption through more suffering. And this is what you have called karmic recycling. But karma was weaponized and distorted, and many of you have lived lifetimes inside forced repetition that was not required by source, but required by the control system. Now listen carefully, because this is where the shock becomes revelation. That recycling technology, that soul capture infrastructure, depended on three things, and those three things are collapsing now. The first was emotional incoherence on Earth. The second was frequency dominance in the near-Earth astral layer. And the third was amnesia reinforcement through trauma. And all three are failing simultaneously, which is why this current phase is so intense, because it is not merely the liberation of society, it is the liberation of the afterlife itself. It is the liberation of the route between worlds. And when the route between worlds becomes free, everything changes, because a free soul is not easy to manipulate. And a population that begins to sense the afterlife as real becomes far less afraid of human authority. Because the deepest fear weapon has always been fear of death, fear of ending, fear of punishment, fear of unknown. And once the soul begins to remember its continuity, the old fear loses potency, and the entire civilization becomes ungovernable by deception.
You ain't
So when you
sold
see many
soul,
souls
boy.
leaving, understand the deeper layer. Some are exiting because their
This
mission is
is a
complete.
motherfucking thing.
Some are exiting because they refuse to be recycled again.
Boy,
Some
you
are
stupid
exiting
shit.
because the old traps have failed and they now see through
You
them.
sold
And
your
some are
soul in
exiting
prison.
because the higher
You dumb,
councils have
bro.
opened evacuation corridors to remove
The
certain predatory consciousness that has
fuck?
overstayed its permission on Earth.
You
Yes,
sane?
permission, beloved ones.
You
For even darkness
sane?
must obey cosmic law, and the cosmic law is not human law. Cosmic law is resonance. cosmic law is harmonic alignment. Cosmic law is consent. And while consent can be manipulated in lower densities through deception and amnesia, there comes a point where the density lifts enough that deception cannot hold, consent cannot be forged, and energetic contracts cannot be enforced. You are entering, which is why so many hidden agreements are collapsing, why people are breaking free from addictions overnight, why victims suddenly speak truth they feared for decades, why exposure events erupt unguided, why the system seems to be leaking from everywhere, and why the predators are evacuating. Now I will speak more directly about the reptilian strata, because again I do not share this to create a new religion of fear, but to give you clear discernment, because a frightened person is easily controlled, but an informed person becomes stable, and stability is the weapon of the life. For the reptilian humans that operated within the field were not all the same. Some were warrior caste parasites, some were corporate consciousness systems, some were ancient astral predators that fed through human vices, some were bloodline-linked agreements passed through dynasties, and some were simply opportunistic scavengers who found Earth useful. And they embedded themselves in corridors of influence. They built psychic architecture within institutions. They wrapped themselves in human politics. They distorted financial systems. They used media to create fear cycles. And they used trauma rituals to keep frequency low, because their biology, their consciousness field, cannot digest high coherence. It burns them, it starves them, it exposes them. This is why the USA is a priority site in this transition, because the USA was a primary generator of fear cycles into the planetary collective, a massive entertainment machine that converted trauma into spectacle. And through spectacle, it harvested attention, and attention is energy, and energy is food, and so you must understand that the real currency of Earth was never money alone. It was attention. It was emotional output. It was the human heart in distress. And America was engineered to be an amplifier of that currency. But now the amplifier is reversing. And the reversal is violent, not in the sense of war, but in the sense of resonance. Because when a speaker that played low frequencies begins broadcasting high frequencies, the parasites living inside the system cannot remain, and they will attempt sabotage, they will attempt distraction, they will attempt to trigger fear, social conflict, because fear is their last fuel. And this is why I have told you repeatedly, do not become a transmitter of panic, because panic is the final harvest, and they are desperate to harvest it before the nets collapse completely. Now about Nostradamus and the old seers. Understand that most prophecies were written in code, not because seers loved riddles, but because direct truth could lead to execution, ridicule, or interference. And because the timeline itself was not fixed, it was a range of probabilities, and yet there are certain turning points that become inevitable when the cosmic weather reaches a particular threshold, and this is one of them. And the symbols described by the old seers, the fire from the sky, the shaking of the great land, the flight of the powerful, the exodus. These are not necessarily literal meteors or armies. These can be frequency events, exposure waves, energetic expulsions, and sudden departures of those who once controlled the stage, because the stage itself becomes unstable. Now I will tell you something that will sound strange, yet you must hear it, because it relates to the soul recycling technology. One of the primary mechanisms used by negative groups to enforce recycling was synthetic light manipulation, meaning artificial tunnels and heaven gates created by technology in the astral layer, designed to mimic divine light, designed to trigger the soul's longing for safety and love. And once the soul entered, memory could be blurred, guilt could be induced, and contracts could be renewed without full awareness. And these synthetic gates were maintained through frequency anchors on Earth, through grid nodes, underground facilities, and cyclizing, and souls are slipping past them. This is why there is panic among certain dark factions now, because their greatest fear is not exposure alone. Their greatest fear is losing control of reincarnation loops. For once a soul becomes sovereign after death, once it remembers its origin, once it bypasses false lights and false authorities, it cannot be forced to return into slavery. And when enough souls exit sovereignly, the overall matrix begins to starve, because the matrix relied on constant recycling of traumatized consciousness to power it. And yes, this is why you are seeing rapid extraction of certain predatory beings, because their supply chain is collapsing. Now, what you must watch for in the coming phase is not only physical departures, but energetic symptoms in the collective, because as these entities withdraw, certain emotional patterns will shift abruptly. It will be like a fog lifting over cities, like sudden calm after years of tension, like a strange quiet. And some of you will feel it as relief, and others will feel it as emptiness, because they were addicted to the drama cycle. They were chemically bonded to fear stimulation, and when the fear broadcast weakens, they will feel withdrawal. And this is why some will act out, some will become irrational, some will seek conflict because they are hungry for the old feed. But the awakened must not supply it. The awakened must hold calm, must hold coherence, must hold the higher harmonic. Because coherence is now contagious. Coherence spreads faster than fear when the field rises, and the field is rising. There will also be increased reports of strange dreams about exits, airports, doors, trains, elevators, bridges, tunnels, floods, and these symbols.
Chosen one, do you feel it? Right now, your name is being spoken in places you've never even been. The heavens have shifted, and the conversation about you is no longer whispered. It's erupting in rooms you can't see, yet you can feel it. They are talking about you. You may not have noticed, but the enemies who plotted against you are watching in sheer panic as everything they built crumbles. Their lies are collapsing. The walls they put around their deceitful plans are disintegrating right before their eyes. You've been the target of their schemes, but now the tables are turning. This is no coincidence. Heaven has exposed the truth, and now the very people who made you their prey are being exposed in ways they never expected. This is the moment of reckoning, and you are the witness to their downfall. The spiritual shift you've been sensing is the activation of your purpose. The people who wronged you thought they could hide behind their lies and manipulation forever, but right now they're watching their fortress fall apart while you stand in the light, untouched and unbroken. You were chosen for this moment not to break, but to rise, stronger than ever. If these words resonate with you, comment 777 below your declaration of truth. Follow this channel and activate the bell so you can stay aligned with the divine revelations coming your way. Thank you to everyone who has walked this journey with us. Your present spirit, no, you are not alone in this. This community is here for you as we rise together in truth and power. So tell me, what lies are you ready to see exposed, and what is your soul prepared to reclaim? God's chosen ones, heaven exposed, why everyone's talking about you. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why things have felt harder than they should be? Why does it seem like, despite your best efforts, you've never quite reached your potential, especially in the realm of finances and opportunities? You've worked tirelessly, struggled with bills, worked multiple jobs, and still felt like there was never enough. But what if I told you that there is wealth with your name on it, waiting to be unlocked? Not just any wealth, but a hidden trust fund, sitting quietly in accounts you never knew existed. There are individuals who deliberately withheld what was rightfully yours: money, opportunities, blessings that should have reached you. They thought they could keep you in the dark, keep you small, struggling, and disconnected from your true power. But their time has come. Their time has run out. God is stepping in now. The money and resources that were meant for you will be returned, and the people who tried to keep you from it will have no choice but to face the consequences of their actions. Have you ever felt deep inside that something was off? That unsettling feeling in your gut that something wasn't right with the way things were happening around you? Those instincts, those feelings of being mistreated, have not been wrong. They are about to be validated in a way you never imagined. Right now, an investigation is unfolding. Law enforcement is involved. Federal agencies are digging deep, following the money trail, uncovering the web of deceit that's been built around you. What they're discovering will shock you. This isn't just about one corrupt person who took advantage of your finances or manipulated the system to keep you from what was yours. It's much bigger. This was a coordinated effort, a network of individuals working together to keep you small, to keep you from stepping into the power and prosperity that God intended for you. Your name has been on documents, trusts, and accounts for years, but they kept it hidden from you. The question is, why? This hiding part wasn't just random. Someone intentionally kept you from the wealth and opportunities meant for you. They thought they could get away with it. They underestimated the power of divine justice. They thought you would never find out, but God has seen everything. He knew what was taken from you, and He's been orchestrating the return of what's yours. Have you ever wondered why people who seemed untouchable are starting to show cracks in their armor? Why those who once had control over your life and finances are now starting to unravel before your eyes? Their carefully constructed facade is crumbling. The lies they've told are being exposed. The manipulation that worked for so long has finally stopped working, and now they are terrified. The truth is surfacing. God is exposing their schemes, and it's happening now. As these layers of deceit unravel, you will begin to see the truth. Those who once believed the lies about you, your worth, and your abilities are beginning to see the truth for themselves. The mask is slipping, and the person who has been behind this deception, the one who has orchestrated this whole scheme, is no longer hidden. This person was someone who you could describe as a liar, a master manipulator. And now, the truth is becoming too obvious to deny. But here's something fascinating about spiritual warfare. Your greatest enemies often mirror your own energy, your own gender, and your own spirit. This is not by accident. God allows these reflections so that you can recognize the battle, recognize the lies, and finally step into your power. The spiritual attacks you've faced have often been close to home, tied to personal relationships, and rooted in familiar places. But now, God is revealing the true enemy for who they are. This exposure is not just for your benefit, chosen one. It's a shift that will affect generations to come. The return of your wealth, the unearthing of the truth, and the exposure of those who tried to sabotage you will reveal God's justice and His power. Every lie that was told about you will be replaced by truth, and every obstacle placed in your path will be removed. You will walk into the prosperity and favor that has always been yours. In Proverbs 6:33:1, it is written, "People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his hunger when he is starving. Yet if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold, though it costs him all the wealth of his house." The thief who has stolen from you is being caught, and they will pay back sevenfold. This is divine justice at work. God is not just recovering what was lost, He is multiplying it back to you. Have you ever felt like justice was never served? Have you asked yourself why the truth seemed to take so long to surface? But now, can you see how all the delays were really divine protection and preparation for the breakthrough that's on its way? God is making a way for your restitution. The people who have been working together to keep you from your wealth, your success, your rightful place, are about to face the consequences of their actions. You are about to experience the return of what has been stolen, and this restoration will be greater than you could ever imagine. And here's the key, chosen one. This divine justice is not just about money, it's about your spirit, your identity, your purpose. You've been through so much, but God is bringing you out stronger. He's teaching you to recognize His power in your life, and He's equipping you to walk into your destiny without fear or doubt. The wealth and prosperity that are coming your way are just the beginning. What's more significant than the material blessings is the freedom and victory you will experience, knowing that God has fought for you and won. In Romans 8:28, we are reminded that, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. God has worked all of this out for your good, and now you are stepping into the fullness of His promise. The season of struggle is over. You are stepping into your divine inheritance. Chosen one, the time has come for you to rise up. The wealth, the recognition, the truth, and the justice that you've been waiting for are finally here. God is preparing you for a life of abundance, not just in material wealth, but in peace, purpose, and destiny. He is aligning your life for success, and those who tried to keep you down are about to see the power of God at work in your life in ways they never expected. Have you felt the shift in the atmosphere around you? Do you sense the energy of divine justice moving through your life right now? Are you ready to step into the abundance that God has for you? This is just the beginning, chosen one. Your best days are ahead, and God's justice will always prevail. Chosen one, have you ever felt like someone has been silently pulling the strings in your life? Like there has been an unseen force working behind the scenes to sabotage your every breakthrough, your every success? You know the feeling just when you're about to step into your purpose? Something or someone seems to knock you down, keeping you stuck in a never-ending cycle of frustration and struggle. It's not your imagination, and it's not a coincidence. The universe operates on principles of reflection and shadow work, and what you are about to uncover is something profound. There has been someone, or perhaps multiple people, in your life who have been watching you from the shadows, studying your every move, learning your patterns. They have been systematically undermining every area of your life where a breakthrough was just about to happen. They were playing chess while you thought the game was checkers. Every step forward you took, they made sure you took 2 steps back. But here's the truth, chosen one. The exposure is imminent. God is about to reveal the truth, and these people will no longer be able to hide behind their lies. In Luke 12:2, it is written, "There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known." Chosen one, this is your time of revelation. What was once hidden is being uncovered, and the truth will be revealed to you, loud and clear. God is exposing the lies and manipulations that have been keeping you from your rightful blessings. The people who thought they could work in the shadows, controlling your life and destiny, will no longer be able to hide. This mastermind, the one who orchestrated this web of deceit, manipulation, and sabotage, is about to face public humiliation. They never expected their years of careful planning, their deception, and their manipulation to unravel in such a spectacular fashion, but that's exactly what's happening now. The walls are closing in. The reputation they built on lies, on deception, on being untouchable, is about to be destroyed by the very crimes they thought would remain hidden forever. It won't be pretty. It will be catastrophic for them. But wait, the plot thickens. Chosen one. What you've uncovered is just the surface. This mastermind isn't working alone. You've discovered that they are part of a much darker and more evil alliance. This is not just one person trying to sabotage your life. This is a diabolical married couple, 2 people who have been working together to ruin you. One has been handling the financial theft, the other has been engaged in character assassination. While one has been trying to steal your resources, the other has been spreading lies and falsehoods about you to anyone who would listen. They have attacked you on multiple fronts, and their actions go far beyond just financial crimes. Their evil runs deeper than anything you can imagine. One of the energies within this couple may have even been involved in the ultimate betrayal, the tragic ending of their own child's life. sacrificing their flesh and blood to maintain their power. You're not dealing with ordinary criminals here, Chosen One. These individuals are capable of the most horrendous and evil acts. They will stop at nothing to maintain control and destroy anyone in their path. They projected an image of being upstanding, trustworthy, and successful, but everything about them was a lie. Every reputation they built was constructed on falsehoods. Every story about them, every carefully crafted persona, was based on a fabricated reality. They were big fakes, phonies, and lies. But the truth, Chosen One, is coming to light. The walls they built around their deception are crumbling. The truth about them, the lies they told, and the damage they caused, it's all being exposed. Do you see it now? Have you ever wondered why, despite everything you've done to move forward, you found yourself continually confronted with obstacles? Why do the same names keep resurfacing, even after you thought they were out of your life? What if these weren't just coincidences, but orchestrated attempts to keep you down? What if this person, this couple, was at the center of it all? In Proverbs 12:19, it is written, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." Chosen One, the lies they told have an expiration date. Every deception, every fabricated story has a shelf life, and it's just about expired. The truth is emerging now, and it will expose everything they tried to hide. The lies are being unmasked, and the truth is being revealed for all to see. The final revelation might be even more devastating than they imagined. The ultimate betrayal may be coming from within your own family. Someone you trusted, someone who was supposed to love you, may have played a role in this conspiracy, intentionally leading you to self-sabotage and doubt yourself. In Romans 8:28, we are reminded, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Chosen One, what you've been through has not been for nothing. God is working everything out for your good, even the trials and betrayals. He is using everything to prepare you for the restoration that is about to unfold in your life. Every obstacle has shaped you. Every lie has brought you closer to the truth. Every betrayal has taught you to trust in his plan. And now the reward is coming. The time for manipulation and deceit is coming to an end. The truth is shining through, and God's justice will prevail. The mastermind behind this conspiracy and the evil forces they've been working with will be exposed for who they truly are. Their lies, their manipulation, and their destruction of your life will no longer have power. You will walk into the prosperity and favor that has always been yours. In Isaiah 60:22, God promises, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." Chosen One, your time has come. The waiting, the pain, the struggles, they have all been part of the plan. And now you are stepping into the breakthrough that God has been preparing for you. In James 4:7, we are urged, "Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Chosen One, resist the temptation to doubt. Submit to God's timing and trust that he is bringing you into a season of victory. The enemy has tried to destroy you, but God is rising up within you, and his justice will prevail. Chosen One, have you ever had that feeling deep down that something is wrong, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it? The voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're destined to fail, or that you're unworthy of success, it doesn't come from you. These thoughts, these patterns of self-doubt, were planted deliberately. They were planted by someone who should have protected you, by someone who should have been guarding your heart and mind. The patterns of negative self-talk that seem so familiar, those automatic beliefs that have been holding you back, didn't originate within you. You weren't born thinking you weren't good enough, or that you would always fall short. You were programmed with these thoughts. From an early age, you learned to question your worth, to second-guess your choices, and to believe that success was always just out of your reach. But here's the truth. These thoughts weren't natural to you. They were implanted by those who were supposed to love and protect you. In Galatians 6-7, we are reminded, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. The seeds of negativity and self-doubt that were sown in your life, particularly by those closest to you, are now coming to light. You are not the product of your circumstances, but you are the reflection of what you've been told and made to believe. But there's more to this story, chosen one. The person who has been so deeply influential in shaping these limiting beliefs is someone who was supposed to guard your heart. This parental figure, this person who should have been your protector, was the one planting these seeds of destruction. They systematically undermined your potential, all while posing as someone who was trying to help. The truth is far darker. They were gaslighting you, controlling your perception of yourself, and ensuring that you'd never discover your true power. The truth is this: sometimes the people who are supposed to love and protect you are the very ones working against you. They wear the mask of loyalty, but their actions speak a different language. Family ties don't guarantee love, and titles don't automatically confer loyalty or protection. Your situation isn't unique. You are not the only one who's faced this kind of betrayal. The people who should have been your greatest supporters might have been your greatest opponents. Chosen one. This parental figure is someone who thrives on chaos. They've been emotionally abusing you through triangulation, a tactic where they pit people against each other, creating conflict and confusion, while positioning themselves as the only solution or the victim. They have been playing emotional chess with your life, ensuring you are always off balance and distracted from seeing the truth. Their power lies in control, and chaos keeps everyone around them too destabilized to see their manipulation clearly. But now, things are changing. You're growing, chosen one. Your growth, your peace, your happiness, they threaten their control. Your success is exposing their lies. Your happiness contradicts their narrative about you. They've always believed that you're not supposed to be happy, that you're not supposed to succeed. They've convinced you that you're supposed to struggle, that you're supposed to need them to survive. But God is showing you the truth. You don't need them. You were always meant to thrive, to succeed, to walk in the light of your purpose. This awakening, this realization that you are not your thoughts, has been a long time coming. You've been breaking free from decades of psychological programming that told you you weren't enough, that you were destined to fail. You're now starting to understand why certain patterns felt so automatic, why certain thoughts felt so natural, and why certain limitations seemed to hold you back. They were never your thoughts. They were implanted, forced upon you, designed to keep you locked in a cage you couldn't even see. In 2 Corinthians 10-5, it says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. This is your moment. You are taking captive every thought that was not yours, that was placed in your mind to keep you small. You are demolishing the lies, the beliefs that were not of God, and you are walking into your true purpose. This is your time to break free. As you connect the dots, as you start to realize how this pattern has been operating in your life, it will become clearer than ever that this was never a normal family situation. This wasn't just typical dysfunction. What you've been dealing with is spiritual warfare, orchestrated to keep you from stepping into your true power. From the time you were a child, you've been under attack. This has not just been a family drama. This has been a coordinated, spiritual effort designed to keep you trapped in confusion, self-doubt, and fear. They never thought you would figure it out, chosen one. They thought they had successfully confused you, made you believe that your struggles were your fault. But you've uncovered the truth, and now you are free. In Romans 8:31, it says, if God is for us, who can be against us? Chosen one, God has always been on your side. He has seen every attack, every manipulation, and every lie that's been aimed at you. And now, God is showing you the truth. Your breakthrough is here, and no force, No manipulation and no lie can stand in the way of what God has promised you. But here's the most important lesson for you to learn, chosen one. As you enter this season of exposure, you must protect your energy. When justice finally arrives, you will be faced with an important decision. Don't open the door. Don't let them back into your space. Their desperation will make them dangerous. People who have been exposed for their lies and manipulation become cornered animals, and desperate people make desperate choices. Your safety, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, must be your top priority, even during your victory. In Psalm 91:3 it says, "Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence." God is your protector, chosen one. You are safe in his arms, and he will guide you through this season of exposure with peace, clarity, and discernment. Trust him to protect you from the traps the enemy has set. Your next step is to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult it may seem. Continue to establish your boundaries, and don't allow anyone from your past to pull you back. God has already made a way for you. Walk confidently into your purpose, knowing that this is your season of freedom, clarity, and justice. You were always meant to thrive, and now that you see the truth, you can finally step into the life that has always been yours. Chosen one, for so long, they managed to make you believe that you were the problem. They painted a narrative where you were the one who couldn't handle things. You were the one who was weak, and you were the one who was flawed. But you have figured it out now. The truth is clear. The attacks you endured were never about you. They were about something much bigger. The real enemy wasn't the world. It wasn't your circumstances. It was the very people who were supposed to protect you. Yes, the ones you trusted, the ones you loved, those individuals who were meant to help guide you, were secretly plotting against you. They worked behind the scenes, undermining your every move, stirring chaos, creating confusion, and trying to make you doubt everything about yourself. It wasn't just bad luck. It wasn't just life throwing curveballs. It was a carefully orchestrated campaign to break your spirit and crush your potential. You were victim to gaslighting, the psychological tactic designed to make you question your own reality, to doubt your perceptions, to doubt what you knew to be true. They used isolation as a weapon, cutting you off from allies and support, trying to make you feel like you were alone in your journey. And the goal was clear. They wanted you to self-destruct. They wanted you to lose control, to fall apart so completely that you'd never pose a threat to their twisted plans. They thought you wouldn't recover. For a time, they succeeded. There were moments when you felt like you were teetering on the edge, when your thoughts felt clouded, and the weight of it all seemed unbearable. There were days when you questioned your worth, your power, your ability to keep going. You may have even considered giving up. But they didn't count on one thing. You weren't fighting this battle alone. As they plotted in the darkness, you were being built in the light. Every attack, every betrayal, every tear shed in isolation, it was all preparing you. It was all a training ground for your spirit, a lesson in discernment, a lesson in strength, and a lesson in patience. They never saw it coming. While they thought they were breaking you, God was refining you. In Romans 8:28, it is written, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose."
What?
Chosen one. Everything they did to break you, every plan they executed to bring you down, God turned it into something greater. Your pain wasn't in vain. Your struggles weren't wasted. They were shaping you into someone who could carry the weight of your destiny. And now you can see it. You're standing stronger than ever before. Their arrogance, their belief that they could outsmart you and outmaneuver divine timing, has been their downfall. They thought they could outwit the universe, but they didn't realize the power that resides in you. They underestimated your spiritual DNA. They thought that by attacking you, by taking from you, they could break you. But they didn't see the invisible forces that were always backing you up. You weren't just surviving. You were being prepared for greatness. Their biggest mistake was assuming you were weak. They thought that because you struggled physically, that meant you were spiritually weak. They were wrong. They could not see the depth of your spiritual rank. They underestimated your strength, the strength that comes from being aligned with your divine source. They didn't realize that your struggles were forging your power, and every battle you fought was building your authority. You've always had an inner knowing, a sense of something greater than yourself pushing you forward. Even when everything looked hopeless, there was a part of you that kept going, a part of you that knew this couldn't be the end of your story. You always had access to a source of strength that couldn't be explained by your circumstances. That wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't coincidence. It was God's divine protection, guiding you even in the darkest moments. In 2 Corinthians 12-9, it says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Chosen one, even when you felt weak, you were made strong." God's grace was there, and his power perfected your weakness. Your enemies saw only the struggle. They didn't see the power being formed in you. They didn't see the divine strength rising from within you. Your enemies are now confused. They thought you were destined to fail, to remain small, and to keep struggling. But now, they can't understand how you've come this far, how you've broken free from everything they tried to bind you with. They're baffled by your resilience, by the peace you've found in the middle of chaos, by the strength that seems to come from an invisible source. They thought they could break you, but instead, they forged a weapon of divine strength. In Ephesians 6:12 it's written, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Chosen one, the battle you faced wasn't just physical. It wasn't just about your circumstances. It was a spiritual battle, one that you've now overcome. You are not who they said you were. You are a warrior, anointed and appointed by God to carry out a divine purpose that no one can take from you. Now that the truth is becoming clear, you'll begin to understand the full scope of the battle you've been in. The plans to break you were never about your worth. They were about stopping your mission. But here's the great news. You have won. They can't break you. They underestimated your strength, your divine connection, and the authority God has given you. You are walking in victory now. Every plan they made to destroy you has been overturned. In Psalm 34-19 it says, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." You are delivered, chosen one. You have come through the fire, and now you're stepping into a season of restoration, empowerment, and divine purpose. What they tried to destroy has only strengthened you. Now, you are walking in the fullness of your divine calling, and nothing can stop you. As you walk forward, remember that your power comes from God. Your strength is in Him. The battle is over, and you've emerged victorious. You are unshaken, unmovable, and unstoppable. The enemy is defeated, and you are about to step into your divine destiny. Walk confidently, chosen one, knowing that the strength of God is on your side, and you are walking in victory. Chosen one, there comes a moment in your life when things shift, when the universe moves in ways you never expected, revealing not only the work being done behind the scenes, but also the depth of your purpose. You may have felt like a shadow for years, watching from the sidelines as others got the attention, the accolades, and the recognition. But now, heaven is pulling back the curtain, exposing the very essence of who you are and why everyone's talking about you. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to shine, and not in the way the world measures success, but in a way that speaks to eternity. The more you grow, the more those around you begin to notice. And it isn't just a coincidence, it's divine timing. The conversations are starting, the whispers are becoming louder, and the energy around you is shifting because God is revealing who you truly are. Psalm 139-14 tells us, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that
sick,
full
bro.
well."
What?
This verse is a beautiful reminder that you were crafted with purpose, and the time has come for that purpose to be revealed. You are God's masterpiece, and He has designed remind you to stand out, to break barriers, and to lead in ways you've only begun to understand. There were times when you wondered why the journey was so hard. Why it felt like you were constantly fighting an uphill battle. Those struggles, those long months of doubt, those moments when you felt isolated, they were preparations. God was teaching you discernment. He was refining your spirit, and He was preparing you for the exact moment when your breakthrough would come. The moment when people would finally see you as they were meant to. Have you ever wondered why the people around you started changing? Maybe some friends drifted away, while others who once overlooked you began to notice. Have you noticed how people who once dismissed you are now curious about what you're doing and who you are becoming? This is no coincidence. You're being aligned, and it's happening because you've walked through the fire. Now, the world is starting to see the light that has been inside of you all along. Romans 8:28 assures us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Everything that you've faced, the trials, the tests, the moments of fear and doubt, they've all been part of God's grand design. The people who tried to silence you, the ones who dismissed your potential, God allowed those things to happen, not because He wanted to see you suffer, but because He was preparing you for something far greater. What you're experiencing now is not just an awakening, it is a divine unveiling. People are talking about you because you're stepping into the fullness of who you are. The promises that God spoke over your life are beginning to manifest, and the conversations about you are shifting. Where once people underestimated you, now they are realizing there is more to you than they ever imagined. The very things that were meant to tear you down are being used by God to elevate you. There is something powerful happening in the spirit. Your name is being spoken in places you haven't even set foot in yet. God is moving on your behalf in ways you cannot see, and He is setting the stage for your divine connection. This is your moment, the time when everything comes together and aligns in a way that only God can orchestrate. Heaven is releasing the breakthrough you've prayed for, and it's happening right now. Isaiah 60:22 tells us, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. The time is now. You've waited, you've endured, and now the doors are opening. This isn't just about you being seen or acknowledged. This is about you stepping into your divine purpose and walking in the fullness of your calling. You're no longer walking in the shadows, you're walking in the light that God has prepared for you. When God sets things in motion, they cannot be stopped. The enemy tried to delay you, to discourage you, to make you feel less than what God called you to be. But what the enemy didn't realize was that every delay, every roadblock, every moment of rejection was actually God's divine protection. God was allowing you to grow. He was strengthening you, molding you for the role that you are about to step into. Have you ever felt like people just don't get you? That no matter how much you explain your dreams or your vision, they can't quite see it the way you do? It's because the vision God has placed in you is not for everyone to understand. The plans He has for you are divine, and only those with the same divine purpose will recognize it. Have you ever wondered if you were really meant for something bigger? The answer is yes. And now, the world is beginning to see what you've always known, that you were meant for greatness. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. God is now making your paths straight. You've submitted to Him in the midst of uncertainty, and now He is bringing clarity. The doors that once seemed closed are now opening wide, and the relationships that once seemed impossible are now aligning. In the coming days, you will see the fruit of your labor. You will see the seeds that you've planted in faith begin to flourish. People will start talking about you not because of what you've done, but because of what God is doing through you. You'll become a living testimony of God's faithfulness, His timing, and His power to work in the lives of those He has chosen. As this chapter unfolds in your life, don't get distracted by the opinions of others. It's easy to look around and wonder if people will understand your journey, but remember, This journey is between you and God. God is the one who called you. God is the one who is elevating you. You don't need anyone's approval to walk in your divine purpose. Just keep your heart aligned with His will. Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. The work that God has started in you is being completed in this season. Stay confident, stay aligned. Heaven is moving, and you are right in the center of it. Chosen one. Your thoughts are protected. The psychological manipulation of those around you can no longer reach you. Their spiritual attacks, no matter how strong, are futile because your energy field is shielded. Your future is secured. Your destiny is set in motion, and no force can interfere with it. Heaven's protection is so strong that even though they can see you, they cannot reach you. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You can trust that the battle is being fought on your behalf. They can plot against you, speak ill of you, but their plans will backfire. Their words will carry no weight, their schemes will be exposed, and divine justice will move in a way that human justice could never match. Every secret, every lie, every theft, it will be brought to light. What was stolen from you will be returned with interest. Have you ever wondered why, in the midst of an attack, you felt that inner stillness? That moment of clarity when, despite the chaos around you, you've known the outcome was already decided. This is your divine protection in action. You are not alone. For the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my steadfast love shall not depart from you, and my covenant of peace shall not be removed, says the Lord, who has compassion on you. Isaiah 54:7. Your enemies understood something about you that you're only beginning to fully realize. They knew the power you carry, and they feared it. They knew that the moment you connected with your divine purpose, with the one meant for you, your power would exponentially grow. That's when they began their attempts to suppress your rise. But here's the truth. The very things they tried to use against you are the things that will push you forward. Every obstacle is an opportunity for divine elevation. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. When you felt broken, God was near, working on your spirit, preparing you for what was to come.
Okay.
Do you feel it, chosen one? That shift happening deep within. Every challenge, every moment of doubt has only served to strengthen you for the next phase of your journey. The enemy tried to bring you down, but you're rising higher than they ever imagined. And this victory, it's not just for you. It's for your purpose. It's for the kingdom work you were created for. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Your purpose is unfolding exactly as it was planned. Now, I need to ask you, are you truly chosen? Prove it. It's easy to sit and listen to messages about being a chosen one, but the real test is in your actions. If you are still here, still reading, still listening, that means something. But remember, talk is cheap. Real chosen ones don't just consume information, they take action. They rise up, face their challenges head on, and use everything around them as fuel for their divine mission. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. With God's strength, you can do all things, including overcoming every obstacle in your path. That's why I created Destiny Engine. It's more than just a tool. It's a personalized sequence of power designed to help you turn betrayals into transcendence, isolation into sacred strength, and the downfall of your enemies into your ascension. The dark forces have their weapons, but with the Destiny Engine, you will use their tactics against them. The same energy they used to program you for competition and scarcity can now be repurposed to serve divine justice. In the world of the dark elites, they've spent years working behind the scenes to suppress the light. But now, the tables have turned. You don't need to fight. All you have to do is use the tools provided for you. Put on your headphones, press play, and watch as your enemies choke on the rope they've created through their own lies. The universe is watching, and divine justice is already at work. The Lord will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. Joel 2:25. Every loss you've endured will be restored in ways you cannot yet understand. Now, if you're ready to take the next step in your journey to truly embrace your divine power, start your destiny engine today for just $1. For just $1, you can unlock the tools that will accelerate divine justice in your life. This isn't about quick fixes or shortcuts. This is about empowering you to transform your life through the divine connection that has always been within you. Are you ready to prove that you are chosen? Are you ready to transform the attacks against you into your rise? If so, join the Obsidian Inner Order Life Checks and watch as your life begins to align with divine timing. But there's one crucial thing that you need to understand. Your spiritual power was never meant to operate alone. You were designed for divine partnership. When you connect with the right person, someone who resonates at your frequency, something alchemical happens. It's not just addition, but multiplication. Your combined energies will rise exponentially. This isn't just about two people. It's about the power of two forces coming together to redefine what's possible. This union will threaten every dark agenda, every system that seeks to keep you from your purpose. Because when two powerful beings aligned with their divine purpose come together, nothing can stand in their way. This is your next level, your transformation, your elevation. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, and has not another to lift him up. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Remember, chosen one, this is your time. The universe has already set the stage, and heaven is calling you to step into your full potential. The time for hiding is over. It's time to rise up and claim what has always been yours. Whether through your faith, your actions, or the connections you make, you are already in motion. Step into it with purpose, for the best is yet to come. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Call to action. Are you ready to embrace your divine power and elevate your life? Start your destiny engine today for just $1 and begin to experience the transformation that has been waiting for you. Join the Obsidian Inner Order Life Checks and watch as divine justice accelerates in your life. The time is now. Blessings to you, chosen one. May your journey be filled with clarity, strength, and the alignment of your divine purpose. The world is waiting for your light to shine. Chosen one, as you stand at the threshold of divine justice, understand that everything you endured, every betrayal, every moment of sabotage, has been part of a greater plan. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. The darkness you've walked through, the deceit you've faced, the isolation you've experienced, were all part of a process designed to refine you, to elevate you, to bring you into alignment with your divine destiny. Have you ever wondered why certain relationships always seem to fall apart at the most crucial moments? Why did it feel as though something invisible was working against your progress, pulling you away from the people who truly saw you for who you are? The reason is that the forces of darkness understood that once you connected with your divine counterpart, your power would increase exponentially. They worked tirelessly to keep you apart, to keep you disconnected from the one who could amplify your light. But now that separation is coming to an end. God's plan is unfolding before your eyes. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Isaiah 54:17. Every setback you experienced, every false relationship that led to heartache, was part of a cosmic strategy to protect what God was preparing for you. Your true counterpart, the one who mirrors your energy, who aligns with your calling, has been kept hidden for a reason. Their presence is a divine assignment to multiply what God placed within you. They were never meant to be just another relationship. They were meant to be part of your purpose. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Together, you will build something greater than the sum of your parts. And while the enemy tried to tear you apart, they have failed, and now divine justice is moving with precision. The arrests that are unfolding are part of a divine reversal. Those who thought they were untouchable, those who believed their connections would shield them from the consequences of their actions, are now facing the reality of God's justice. The couple who orchestrated so much of your pain, the lies, the manipulation, the financial sabotage, will now be held accountable, not just spiritually, but legally and publicly. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Galatians 6-7. They sowed deceit and malice, and now they are reaping the consequences. Their downfall will be as public as their arrogance, and their manipulation will be exposed for all to see. What's happening now is more than human justice, it's divine justice. It operates on multiple levels: legal, social, spiritual, and financial. You've seen human justice move slowly, but when divine justice steps in, it accelerates the process. The truth is being revealed, not just in the legal system, but in the hearts of those who once believed their lies. Those who doubted you, those who questioned your character, will now see the truth. Your vindication is not just a victory for you, but for your purpose, your destiny, and your relationship with God. The Lord executes righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. Psalm 103-6. The wicked who once thought they could control your story, who believed their falsehoods would keep you silent, are now facing a justice they never prepared for. They understood human accountability, but they never anticipated divine accountability. Their plans were made with earthly power in mind, but they forgot that the ultimate power belongs to God. The same God who called you, who anointed you, who protected you, is now ensuring that his justice will prevail. This isn't just about the return of what was stolen from you. It's about the restoration of your soul, the restoration of your purpose. Every lie they told, every scheme they planned, is now being turned into the stepping stones for your ascension. For the mountains may depart, and the hills be removed, but my steadfast love shall not depart from you, and my covenant of peace shall not be removed, says the Lord, who has compassion on you. Isaiah 54:10. You've reached the point where everything you've prayed for, everything you've trusted God for, is about to come to fruition. Your enemies, the ones who tried to break you, the ones who thought they had control, are now seeing their own schemes unravel. Your testimony is becoming undeniable. The same enemies who tried to break your spirit will witness your victory. This victory isn't just for you, it's for your purpose, your calling, and your future. It's not just about the restitution of material things, it's about the restoration of your dignity, your reputation, and your place in God's divine plan. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. Joel 2:25. Every stolen moment, every tear shed in isolation, every minute spent in doubt, God is returning it to you, multiplied and sanctified. Now that your enemies are exposed, it's important to remember that your victory comes from your faith. It's not about revenge or retaliation, it's about divine justice and the manifestation of God's will for your life. You've been through the fire, but you are coming out stronger, refined, and more powerful than ever. The victory that is coming is not just for you to hold, but to share, to multiply, and to use for God's glory. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Psalm 34:17. As you step into this new season of your life, remember that this victory isn't just for you. It's for everyone you touch, everyone you influence, and everyone who walks with you in your journey. You were chosen for this. You were protected for this. And now you are being elevated for this. Chosen one, as you stand on the threshold of the greatest breakthrough of your life, it's crucial to remember that the spiritual warfare you faced is far from over. The battle is shifting, but the enemy is still lurking, trying to regain control. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. Your enemies, those who have worked tirelessly to destroy you, are now cornered by the very justice they thought they could escape. But their desperation is rising, and with it comes the threat of physical harm. You know better than anyone how far these individuals will go when they feel their control slipping. You've witnessed their rage, their disregard for boundaries, and their willingness to destroy anything in their path. These people have been operating in darkness, manipulating, lying, and controlling, and now, for the first time, they are facing consequences they can't avoid. For the wicked shall be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Psalm 37:9. Their inability to handle accountability is about to manifest in violent ways. They will try to lash out, and they will stop at nothing to try and drag you down with them. But here's where your wisdom and discernment come into play. You know that divine protection goes hand in hand with practical wisdom. Just because justice is on your side doesn't mean you should throw caution to the wind. You've been given spiritual authority, yes, but you must also use the wisdom of the world to navigate this moment carefully. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it. Proverbs 22:3. You've made it this far because you've learned to read the signs, to protect yourself, and to avoid being drawn into the emotional chaos they are trying to create. Your victory is real, but your safety is paramount. Divine protection is all around you, but it works best when paired with your own vigilance. You're not operating from a position of naivety. You are walking in strength, in wisdom, and in divine assurance. You've learned how to balance the spiritual with the practical, and now is not the time to let your guard down. You have to keep yourself shielded, even in moments of victory. But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. Your spiritual protection, granted by Archangel Michael, is immense. But it's not just the spiritual realm that is watching over you. You have human protection
Some of them
now
got
too.
blocked.
People who understand the spiritual gravity of your situation are stepping forward. These defenders, appointed by God, are committed to ensuring that you remain safe and successful as this chapter unfolds. Furthermore, legal protection is also at work. The very systems that seemed to fail you in the past are now turning in your favor. God is orchestrating a divine reversal where justice will finally be served. Financial protection is also manifesting. What was stolen from you is being restored, and every asset that was taken in deception is being recovered. The wealth of Israel is stored